We gather to honor our forefathers who had the foresight, wisdom, courage, and resolve to bring into being the greatest country the world has yet seen, the United States of America. Borrowing from President Lincoln, 12 score and 6 years ago, our forefathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition all men are created equal. We're gathered here this Independence Day to celebrate the adoption of that revered document, the Declaration of Independence, July 4th, 1776, 241 years ago today. Let us review a little history. On the 19th of April, 1775, 700 British soldiers left Boston and marched to Lexington and Concord to look for arms the colonists were storing for the militia. The colonists were forewarned by Paul Revere and two others, and the militia then mustered. There were 57 militiamen at Concord and 73 at Lexington. After some minor skirmishing, the militia dispersed and the British started back to Boston. The militia, better known as the Minutemen, harassed the British troops, inflicting 286 casualties on them. That was 40%. From Emerson's Concord hymn, by the rude bridge that arched the flood, their flag to April's breeze unfurled. Here once the embattled farmer stood and fired the shot heard round the world. The war was on. 15 months later, after some indecisive battles, 58 people from all 13 colonies met to announce to the world that a state of war existed and not a rebellion. And there was no chance of reconciliation with Great Britain. The colonists were experiencing something no European ever had: freedom. Freedom is the greatest catalyst that exists to inspire people to achieve the impossible. They were not going to surrender it. Let us look at the first two sentences of that revered document. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bonds that have connected it with another, and to assume that among the powers of the earth, this separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of God's entitled them a decent respect to the opinions mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. The body of the Declaration then enumerates the violations the British government has imposed on the colonies, and concludes with these two sentences: We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the nature and by authority of the good people of the colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we solemnly pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. These 58 men, with a minority of citizens, had experienced freedom, and they were not going to quit until the bitter end. Now I'd like to introduce some modern-day heroes. These modern-day heroes answered our country's call, just like the early ones. While we did not pledge our lives, fortunes, and our sacred honor, we did pledge, and I'll repeat what we pledged. I, David Fox, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to regulations in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. That oath that you pledged is still valid because we were never released from it. By taking that oath, you have written the government a blank check. Sometimes it's cashed in full and you come home in a box, or else are buried on the spot in a mattress cover. Sometimes it's only cashed for a foot or a leg, maybe your heart. But if it isn't cashed at all, we do come home with memories. Some good, some bad. And we have to live with them.